Welcome to All Things Apple Zoom class. Today's topic is passwords and Keychain. I'm Baron Hamill. I'm your instructor. In this class, I'm going to teach you how to create unique and easily retrievable passwords for each of your online accounts, and then teach you how to retrieve those passwords quickly. Then I'm going to talk about how to use the Keychain function within your Mac devices and Apple devices, iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, and computers, so that each password automatically loads in each of your Apple devices the next time you need it there. I'm going to go through my very own unique password storage creation and storage system. And you don't need to take notes about this. It's a little animated presentation that I've created. And I'm going to include a PDF of it in the recap video email that I send out to you tomorrow. So with that said, I'm going to go to a screen share and do this presentation and walk you through it. I will not be able to use my cursor arrow to indicate things, so you're just going to have to follow with me on the screen. So bear with me while I change screens. Good. So this is the All Things Apple class, and we're going to be talking about passwords and how to create and store them so they're safe. Does your password sort of look like this? And your password storage system looks like this or this? Question: how long do you think it would take a hacker to crack your password system? The time it takes a hacker to brute force into your password. This is a chart that if you read across the top, it says numbers of characters, numbers only, lowercase letters, upper and lowercase letters, numbers upper and lowercase letters, numbers upper and lowercase letters, symbols. And if you read down the left-hand side, it says 4, 5, 6, etc. through 18. And then you read across the top. So if your password has 4 numbers, it can be cracked instantly. And whether it's a combination of numbers, letters, uppercase, lowercase, etc. Going down to where we start seeing the red, 6 numbers of characters, that's upper and lowercase, blah, 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 5 seconds. 7 characters, 6 minutes. 8 characters, 8 hours, 9 characters, 3 weeks, 10 characters, 5 years. And now we get into the interesting territory where I tend to hang out. 11 characters, number, upper and lowercase, and letters and symbols, 400 years. 12 of these in combination would take 34,000 years. 13 units would take 2 million years, etc., etc., etc. So now ask yourself again, given what you know about your password system, how long do you think it would take a hacker to crack your password system the way it currently exists? But I have an online password manager account, you say. Welcome to Fort Knox. Online password managers are not the safest place because hackers consider them a challenge. And you have to be online to access your passwords. What if you need a password and you are not online or cannot get online because you don't have your password? This is a phishing attempt. I've talked to you about this before. What the hackers are doing in this email that I received is that they're looking for me to give them my password. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. Any of these links that are in here, embedded here, like where it says renew now, is an attempt for a hacker to get my password and my login. Notice there are typos in here and spelling errors. Don't do it. When you get one of these, just throw it away. During a recent password audit by a company, it was found that an employee was using the following password: Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Huey, Louie, Dewey, Donald, Goofy, Sacramento. When asked why she had such a long password, she rolled her eyes and said, hello, it has to be at least 8 characters and include at least 1 capital. Kidding aside, now let's review a system that would take at least 400 years to crack. This is my password system. I've taught this in the past. Many of you are now using it with great results, and we'll talk about that after the presentation. And it goes like this. Create a 6 or more letter word, something that's easy for you to remember, but that's basically meaningless or unknown to anyone else. Choose a word that's familiar to you. The more nonsensical, the better. For example, here's a combination called CLEAP, C-L-E-A-P. I've just made it up. That's considered now the root word. Now add a suffix to it, ing in this case. Now add a number to it. In this example, I'm using 56. Now add a symbol to it. Here you see an ampersand. Now capitalize one of the letters in the root word. I've chosen the letter L. And now the password looks like this. So that's the password for this example. Notice the root word is CLEAP. Based on the chart, you're now at 400 years for someone to brute force hack it. Add more letters and digits, and you know, well, we're out to 200 million years, 15 billion years. And now let's talk about how to store your password for easy retrieval. What you do is create a new contact card in your Contacts app for each company that uses a password. In the notes section on the bottom of the contact card, write the password down, but do not write the root word. Instead, you write it this way: word, W-O-R-D, plus that ing 56 ampersand, and then a note to self that says cap second letter, which we know to be that L. Because your login might be different from one site to another, write that down so you have it. Write down the email address that you used on that account and the date that the account was created. Add anything else you need to know about that account, like what credit card you used for payment, security question answers, when the subscription expires, etc. Allow that unique password to be stored in Apple's Keychain or the system for automatic retrieval across whatever product devices you're using. Here's an example of a contact card for an account, the ABC company. Note that it has, in the notes section, the date that I created it, 4/21, what the login is, that would be an email address, or the login name. Next comes the email address. Then here's where I've indicated the password. Notice it says word, ing, 56 ampersand, and then a comma, cap second letter. I've remembered that that root word is CLEAP. So to me, I'm seeing Cleeping 56 ampersand. So I, in my mind, am seeing the entire password. Then it indicates the credit card I'm using, some security questions, and when the account expires. Anything else you want to add in there is fine, because nobody else is going to see this. Just like we have unique fingerprints, you don't ever want to use the same password for more than one account. So now let's create another password. Remember, I said you want different passwords for different accounts. So the next time you need another password, use the same root word and change the suffix, the number, and or the symbol. When you write it down, you write it this way: word plus EST 87% cap last letter. And because you know the root word is Cleep, the new password is Cleep best 87%. Another password could be word plus ENT34 hashtag, cap last letter. So it's Cleep Pent 34 hashtag. And so on, and so on, and so on. Every time you write a new password, you create a new combination after the root word. For Mac users on your computer, be sure that when you set the preferences for your contact cards in the Mac computer, you disable the function to share that note with it. So you go to the Contacts app, in the preferences for the app, under the section called vCard. And notice this is what it will look like when you go to the preferences, and where it says export notes in vCard, this is not turned on. Now, when you want to retrieve your password, if you're not using Apple's Keychain or the equivalent in your other product system, when you need to retrieve your password, go to the contact card for that account, and in that card's notes is your password reminder. And there you have it. An easy way to create and retrieve your passwords that would take a hacker at least 400 years to figure out. I hope you find this system useful in keeping you safe and secure online. And there you have my password system, which some of you have used before with great success. So I look forward to hearing what you have to say about it, or any comments you want to make about it. Herb Tate, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Herb.
Why not use Keychain?
Well, I'm teaching you how to create so that when you get to a place in your computer, and I'm going to be talking about this shortly when I talk about Keychain, instead of using the Keychain, I'll give you an example. Keychain will generate its own passwords if you say, yes, use that password. The other day, I had to go to an account online where I had used a Keychain generated password. How am I going to remember or find that quickly enough to be able to put it into the website that needed it? Fortunately, I had written that password down in its entirety in my contact, so I was able to do a quick copy and paste.
I thought Keychain remembered them for you.
They do, and I'm going to get there. You're getting ahead of me, so hold that thought until we get to there.
Okay,
Thank you, Herb.
Thank you.
Gabriella, go ahead.
Hi, sorry, it took me a minute. So I have a couple of questions. I love your system. I think it's the best I've seen, and I've been using it, transferring all my new stuff to that. But I have a question about putting that information in my contacts, because really you're giving away the whole password, or you're putting your whole password in the contacts except for the root.
No. No,
except for the
if
root.
somebody does not have the root,
Right, but so it's
they
only,
don't have the root.
right, so,
If somebody doesn't, if
Okay.
somebody doesn't have the root, let's say you've got 5 or 6 letters. Each letter has the potential to be 26 letters,
Mhm.
times 26, times 26, times 26, times 26.
Mhm.
The mathematics of it are tremendous. So unless you give somebody that root word, they're not going to be able to figure out what your password is. You
okay,
do not write the root word in your contacts.
right, I
That's
don't.
the whole beauty of this system. You do not write the root word down. You remember it. That's why I say it should be a word that's familiar to you, that's easy for you to remember. If you can remember your social security number, you can remember your root word. Okay? Thank you, Gabriella. Diana, go ahead.
Hi, I was wondering, do you recommend changing all of your passwords and start to do the whole system, or how would you go about it?
That's well, it depends on what kind of a system you've been using in the past.
Well, not one of the good ones. Thank you.
Clearly not.
Okay.
Clearly not. Thank you. Diane, go ahead. Sorry, Carol Wolf, go ahead.
Yes, you had mentioned about in Mac how you turn off the V card or something in your settings. Now, what do you do with the iPhone and your iPad? Would that be
You don't
different?
have to. You don't have to. It's fine.
So that's
Yeah,
safe?
yes, it's fine. The notes will not go out with your contacts when you share a contact.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, so with all of that said, now you know what my system looks like. So now we're going to talk about Keychain and what is Keychain. So I'm going to go to another screen so that you can read this with me so you understand what Apple is talking about with Keychain. So it says, Keychain Access is Mac's OS app that stores your passwords and account information and reduces the number of passwords you have to remember and manage. When you access a website, email account, network server, or other password protected items, you may be given the option to remember or save the password. If you choose to save the password, it's saved in your keychain so you don't have to remember or type your password every time. That can be either an Apple generated password, or it can be a password that you have created. So it will pop and say, it'll generate, do you want to use an Apple password? You say no, you want to use your own password, and then you type that password in and it gets saved. Margaret, your hand is up.
Do you
Your hand is
do you advise that we give that root password, say, to our lawyer?
Yes, yes. All right, so here's what I've done. As you see, there is going to be a PDF document that is what I would call the Rosetta Stone for how to decipher your passwords. The person who is my go-to person, that my attorney, she's a relative, my attorney knows to contact her. She has the Rosetta Stone and she has my root word. So between the two of them, they will be able to crack my password system so they can turn off my Amazon account, my Facebook account, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, as part of your estate preparedness, letting someone else be the holder of this system and your root word is a very good idea. And I talk about that when I talk about estate, I forgot the word, estate preparation. Thank you, Margaret, good comment. Lori, your hand is up.
If you have a phone that doesn't have a home button, how do you access your keychain? Like when it
All right,
says,
you're getting ahead of me. You're getting
Okay.
ahead of me. Stop. You're getting ahead of me.
right,
So let me continue. I'm going to show you how to use your get your passwords from your computer and your iPhone, how to access Mac, the keychain in the Mac and the iPhone. So I'm going to go to screen share to Apple's tutorial on this, so you have access to it when you need it in the future. So the first one I'm going to show you is for the Mac user guide. We go into the Mac user guide. We go to table of contents. Hang on one second, I lost my place. We go into privacy and security. And then there's the section called use keychains to store passwords. So this is a tutorial from Apple that talks about how to manage your passwords using keychains, whether they're passwords that you've created or passwords that Apple has generated for you. And you will get this prompt whenever you've entered a password in a new site. Do you want to save the password? Or never for this website, or not now, you have a choice to do it later. And this is giving you information about how to do that and where iCloud Keychain is storing this. We also have the same thing for the iPhone. And again, we go into our table of contents. And again, we have security and privacy protection and use built in. So here's the information within here. If you can't get to it quickly, you simply type in the word, and I often do this, is keychain. And now you will get to various articles that have keychain. Make your passwords available and automatically fill in, create a strong password, etc. So there are several articles. Make your passwords available on all your devices with iPhone and iCloud Keychain. So remember, I'm in the iPhone user guide. You can do the same thing in the Mac user guide. So here are two very useful articles. Just simply type in the word keychain when you're, excuse me, in the user guide. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for that and show you let me ask this or suggest this. In order for your content to be protected on your computer, the way we have our iPhones and iPads passcode protected or Face ID protected, we also have the ability to passcode protect our computers. So unless you're doing that, as well as your passcode on your iPhone, you're leaving the keys in the front door of the house. And I know that's not something you want to do. So you want to make sure that your computer is passcode protected, password protected as well. Before I go any further, I have the prompt to give the balcony the first two digits of the code, and they are 4 and 9. 4, 9. In the subject line, no spaces. I'll give you the third in a little bit. No spaces between any of them. You can write the topic down if you like. You can send a message in the content of the email if you like. I will respond. And no later than 6 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow morning. 4, 9. Okay, moving right along. Now that we have the passwords created, you know how to create them, you know how to retrieve them from your contact card, there is a way to see them in your computer. So I'm going to go to a screen share to my computer. Put a few things away so that it's less messy, but I need to show you all of this, so bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to screen share to my computer. Not quite. Sorry. And now you're seeing my entire computer screen. And right here, we're on Safari. And when you go into your Safari preferences, top left, pull down menu, Safari preferences, or command comma, we get to all the preferences within the Safari application itself. Notice right now I'm on passwords. It says passwords are locked. To unlock passwords, enter the password for the user Baron. So this is the password for my computer. And when I type that in, what we see now are all the passwords for all the accounts that I've allowed Keychain to store passwords. I'm not going to click on those dots because that will reveal my password and my root. But notice I have a lot of exclamation points that are giving me alerts. And what this is alerting me to, when I go in here, notice it was a password that was generated by the website itself. And it says compromised password. This password has appeared in a data leak, which puts this account at high risk of compromise. And then it goes on to say you can visit British Airways to change your password. And when I click on that blue highlighted line, it will take me directly to British Airways website. Then I will log in and then have an opportunity to change my password there. So anytime you see these highlights, and I left them here on purpose, because since the last time I did this, a lot of these websites have been breached. Their data has been leaked, breached, compromised, whatever. So you can see my homework assignment for tomorrow is to change my passwords on all of these websites. So I left that there so that you could see what's implied and how important it is for you to have different passwords on different sites. Because if the password is breached on one site and the hackers have figured out that's your password, they're going to try it on other sites. So it's very important for you to make sure that you're using unique passwords on each website. We can do the same thing in our iPhones, and I will go to my iPhone in a minute to show you that. But first, I'm going to take some questions. Herb, you're back with your question about Keychain, I bet, right? No, something else. Go ahead.
Keychain. So you can access Keychain via Safari or your dock.
You can access Keychain via Safari, or no, you can't access it in your dock. Your dock is where your applications reside. That's not where Keychain is. I'm going to go to system hold the thought, Herb. I'm going to go to system preferences. I'm going to screen share to system preferences. And what we do is we go into our Apple ID. And now we go into iCloud. And iCloud, notice Keychain is turned on. And that's how you access and make sure that Keychain is working in your computer. So it's in System Preferences, your Apple ID, and under iCloud. This shows you everything that is syncing apps that are using the Mac iCloud, and you have the same turned on in your other devices, and you have Keychain turned on in your iPhone and your iPad, so that when you enter a password, you create a password, let's say you're on your computer, and then it stores it in the Keychain. The next time you go to that website, let's say you're on your iPad or your iPhone, that Keychain is automatically stored. Your iPhone is synced with Keychain in iCloud, and it will automatically load it into that website the next time you go to that website on whatever other device you're on. Okay, Herb, does that answer it? Okay. Sherry and Bob, thank you, Herb.
When you get the message that your passwords need to be changed, when do you determine that your root word needs to be changed as well?
I'm less concerned about my root word because it has so many things after it, and I can add more things after it, that nobody would understand the system that CLEAP is the root word. They're going to be looking for other things to change. So unless they have two side by side that they can compare and see that CLEAP is reappearing, I'm not worried about hackers doing that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Nadine.
I don't understand, Baron, why you're concerned when you get a notice that something's been breached. Your password is so secure. Why would you need to change it?
Because what was breached was the account with my email, with my phone number, with my password.
Oh.
When an account is breached, the hackers have gotten into British Airways. They have gotten my account number, my password, my login, my phone number, maybe even my credit card number if it's on file with them. And so the concern is I want to change the password so the next time they try to go to British Airways and book a ticket using my account, the password won't work. That's why you want to change the passwords wherever you see that it's been compromised, so that if the bad guys go back there, they won't be able to get through that door.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jean Weiss?
When you give the key, the Rosetta Stone, and your code word to your estate person or to your attorney, what guidelines do you give them for storing that PDF?
Well, I'm going to assume that they're not going to leave it lying about on a table. Certainly my attorney, typically an attorney will say, don't give it to me. Give it to a family member who's going to protect it on your behalf. Or if you're concerned, put it in a safety deposit box at the bank. And when the estate is revealed through the box at the bank, then they will have the Rosetta Stone.
Okay, so it is a hard copy that you're turning over, not a data.
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
Right. I mean, that certainly is an efficient way. If you send it via email to somebody, then however they store their materials and have access to it in the future. So I think the safest thing to do would be to print a hard copy of it and put it in your safety deposit box. And then only the estate, whoever's responsible for handling your estate, your attorneys, et cetera, have access to that box. Thank you. Eve Sullivan, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Eve.
Many classes ago, you suggested a way to save your passcodes in notes. And that's where I put all my passcodes are in notes. And there's a way to lock notes. Is this more?
If your note is locked, look, I have almost 400 accounts that have passwords in it. That note would be just too tedious, too long with the account number, with the credit card I'm using, when the subscription expires, blah, 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 blah. So by having it in my contact cards, when I want to go to ABC Company, I just type in ABC Company and it's there. But
Okay.
certainly if you don't have that many, if you have 10, 20, 30, making a note out of it in the Notes app
Yes,
and locking that note would be another secure way to keep them.
correct. That's what I do.
So you're creating another layer of security onto it by making that note locked.
Does that note transfer onto any other device because it's only on my phone?
Well, if you have notes syncing through iCloud, it's going on your computer, going on your iPad, wherever else, but it's also locked in those other devices.
Okay, I have to check that. Thank you.
Thank you, Eve. Peggy Throw, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question, Darren. If I hear you correctly, you're saying you never change your root word. Is that right?
Correct. That's right.
Thank you.
And Sherry asked, should I change my root word if an account has been hacked? Well, I would have to then go into 400 accounts to change it. And some of those accounts, like an airline account, I would have to let my husband know because oftentimes he's the one who buys the tickets. So he has to be able to access the account. Thank you, Peggy. James, go ahead.
My question is, I have a root word that has 3 letters and 4 numbers in it. Is that not safe because it should be all letters, or does it make any difference?
No, you want a combination of letters and numbers.
In the root word?
Oh, no, your root word can be whatever you want it to be. The more mixed up it is, the better. And again, I go back to the math. If let's say you have the letter A, let's say you have the letter M. To get to the letter M, you have to go through a whole bunch of letters before it. To get to the number 5, you have to go through only 4 numbers to get to the number 5. So mathematically, the probabilities are better the more letters you have than numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because remember, the hackers aren't doing this with a pen and pencil on a piece of paper. They're doing this with computers. That's why it's called brute force hacking. So you want to make sure that you give them as few opportunities as possible by having the most number of combinations plausible. Barbara Steger, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Baron. I this morning did the task that you're going to be doing tomorrow, which is I changed a lot of passwords, and then I did it in a. I also did it in a document, and then I tried to get the document into a locked note. There was no way that I could get that document into a note.
PDF. If you made it as a PDF, you cannot lock a note that contains a PDF.
Oh. So there's no way to get it in there?
You remember when I taught previews, the preview app, you can take that PDF document, look at it in preview, and password protect the document that way. Okay? Thank you, Barbara. Rosalie, go ahead.
Do I understand correctly that you think that using the root word is better than doing the strong password that they generate for you?
When Apple generates a strong password, it might be uppercase G underline E 3:9 uppercase H lowercase j /6 3 uppercase X lowercase z. How are you going to remember that?
I don't.
When I'm looking, yeah, right. I could never repeat it, what I just said, except I'll go back and check the video. What I'm trying to create in this system of mine is a way that, let's say you cannot get online, or let's say you're standing at a hotel and the concierge is changing your flight information and needs to know your account number or your password so that you can get your mileage changed. But you don't have your computer there. Your iPhone isn't on the broadband system. You don't want to go on Wi-Fi because you're not in a secure location. How do you retrieve that password if you've got a password storage manager? You simply go into your contacts app, open the contact there in the note. You can say, or type it in yourself, and then you have the information without having to be online. That's part of the beauty of this system. You don't have to be online to retrieve your passwords. Thank you, Rosalie. Beth, go ahead.
Hi, Baron. Just a question. How safe do you think Keychain is from hackers?
How safe do I think? Oh, Keychain. I thought you said teaching, and I went, what?
No.
How safe is Keychain? Keychain. Apple has made a commitment to our privacy. This is the position they have taken above all else with their products and devices and services. I trust Apple with my information to the degree that I've allowed that system to function for me. If Apple is breached at that level, we have bigger problems than somebody hacking into our Amazon account as a nation, as a country, as a society, as a world. So how safe is any of this? It's all relative. Let me just put it that way. It's all relative. If you don't want to use Keychain, and every time you go on a different device to go back to a website, you can re-enter it. Sure. Now that you have this password storage system handy, you can simply go to your contacts and say, oh, okay, Cleeping 389 ampersand, capital second letter. Okay, you can do that and not worry about whether Keychain is safe or not. But I would say Keychain is safer than any of the websites that you're going to, as evidenced by how many of them had breaches on just my own list. Thank you. Gabriella, go ahead.
Thanks. So I noticed that you said to capitalize a letter in the root word. Is it safe to capitalize the first letter ever, or do you usually not do that?
Oh, I'm reminded, and I had it in my presentation, but it was too technically challenging to present it. It's a YouTube video. I know what I'll do. Just for your own giggles, I will include a YouTube video link to a comedian who's talking about the creation of passwords. And it is so funny because he talks about capitalizing the first letter. So I will include the link to the comedian YouTube in your email recap video link. Thank you for that. Herb, go ahead.
What do you think of an idea to use the first letter or the last letter of a sentence, a poem, or a phrase that you like?
Whatever
word.
combination of letters, however you get to that root word, whatever makes you happy. You don't want the root word to be like the name of the high school you went to, because hello, maybe on Facebook you have your high school name, right? Where you went to high school, maybe your school had a name. You know, I went to a private school, it had a name. And if I made the name my password and then somebody saw it somewhere else, I don't have it on Facebook, by the way, but if somebody did, or maybe, you see what I'm saying? So any way that you want to get to it, let's say there's some poem or prayer or saying that's meaningful to you, and you take the first letters of each of the words, or first letter of each of the sentences, whatever makes you happy, to make as nonsensical a word as possible as your root word. That's the key to it, that it's nonsensical.
Yeah, my point is to use something that the formula is easy to remember, to recreate the word until you
That's right.
got it memorized.
Whatever works for your mechanism above. Okay, however
Thank
you manage to remember those things. Thank you, Herb. Any other questions? Because what I want to do before I go into more questions, what I want to do is go to my iPhone and show you the settings and passwords and how autofill is turned on. Let me go to screen share, bear with me. All right, so now you're seeing my iPhone, and I go to my settings and scroll down until you get to passwords. And once you get to passwords, which is right here, you click on it. It used my Face ID to access my passwords, just the way I had to use a password to get to it on my computer. Because I have a 12, my iPhone is visually password protected. If not, I would have had to put in my numbers. And what you see here is I have autofill passwords turned on. And now you see, again, security recommendations. This is my homework tomorrow. And every one of these are the accounts that I have. Those are the emails that I used with them. And I'm not going to click on any of these because if I did, it will show you my password. So I'm not going to do that. But that's how you get to it in your iPhone and your iPad. And that way, when you go to those websites on your devices, you don't have to sit there and type in your login and your password again. Gabriella, your hand is up again.
Sorry, I have so many questions. I find that it's really difficult to change certain passwords, like obviously an Apple password, or like even on my email, changing my password sometimes creates some issues because I have I use the little stamp in the for my emails in my account.
All right, keep going.
So I'm just wondering.
Changing passwords, so if I understand you correctly, changing your password is a challenge.
Sometimes it is for certain passwords.
Okay,
it's a lot
let
harder.
me ask you this. Would changing your password be more challenging, or would battling identity theft and your bank accounts being wiped out be more challenging? Which one would be more challenging to you?
Oh, no, I totally understand. I'm just saying, I feel like I need to ask a computer person sometimes to help me out of my mess when I change a password. Is there a better solution? Like, for example, changing your Apple password, your Apple ID?
Yeah, okay. So Apple passwords, every once in a while, my Apple account gives me an alert because of all the emails that I'm sending out. They're concerned that I've been breached or hacked, or I'm a spammer sending out bulk email. That's why I had to do the culling a couple of months ago.
Mm.
And about 2 months ago, I had to change my Apple password, which meant I had to change it on my computer, my iPhone, my iPad, my iPod Touch, my Apple Watch, and 3 Apple TVs. And that was good for and then I had to notify my go-to person that my root word had changed, or that my password had changed. So then about a week later, Apple said, I want you to do that again. So there I went doing all of that again just to be safe. Was it worth it? You bet. You bet. I don't think there's a debate about that. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you, Gabriella. Madeline, go ahead.
Baron, if you already have passwords in your keychain and you change a password, do you have to delete the old one in the
No,
keychain?
here's what, thank you, good question, Madeline. What will happen is, let's say you go to your British Airway and you change your password and passwords in Apple's keychain. The keychain will notice that you've changed the password. And it says, do you want to update your new password? And you simply say yes.
Okay, great.
And so
Thank you so
Keychain gets
much.
Thank you, Madeline. Good question. Keychain gets updated that quickly. Eve Solomon, go ahead. Your hand is up.
This has nothing to do with the class today, except your outfit.
Then hold the thought. Hold
No,
the
no, your
thought.
outfit is
Hold-
wonderful.
Thank you. Hold the thought.
Okay.
I appreciate it. But I want to stay on topic, and that is, while a nice compliment, clearly off topic. Any other questions about passwords and keychains from what I've been describing? Sherry and Bob, go ahead.
There are times when I'm creating a new password for an account, and it will ask if I want to use keychains. And sometimes before I can even click no, it has put it in. Now, I know how to work around it and get back to it, but is there a really simple way?
When you say it's done it before you do, are you talking about it's added its own strong password?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if you've done that and it's added a strong password, the next time you go to that account, you've logged in with Apple's strong password, you go to your account settings and you change your password there.
Got it. Okay.
And then Apple will ask you, do you want to save the new password? And you say yes. That's
Right.
happened to me a couple of times too. My fingers aren't fast enough.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you, Sherry. Nancy Major, go ahead. Nancy, unmute yourself. Nancy, please unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry, I was clicking on.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't understand your answer to the person who was talking about putting a new password into, say, British Airways. And once you've saved it and then in the keychain and everything, but you still have to go to British Airways to change.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I will use that click through just for convenience sake, or I could go to the app, the website for British Airway, log into my account, and then change my password there. Either way you do it. I'm just doing it through the shortcut that Apple provides.
But even if you use the shortcut, it doesn't, does it automatically tell British Airways you have a new password?
I'm on British Airways website.
Oh, okay, got it.
Go watch the recap video and you'll see how that works. I'm going to give the balcony the third, and it is the letter N. N for new passwords, N. All three strung together, no spaces, no punctuation, no nothing. 6 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow morning. Thank you for that. All right. Any other questions? In the 4 o'clock class, or the class starting in the next hour, I'm going to be talking about organizing your devices and the Files app, completely unrelated. So if you haven't signed up for that and are interested, please do that. Next week's class on Tuesday is going to be about the camera and the Photos app. Those should be fun classes. So if you have any other questions, we have a few more, and then we can start with open discussion. Hans, your hand is up.
Yeah, I use Keychain and I sync it to my devices, but I notice it works perfectly on the computer, but sometimes on my iPhone, it doesn't find it. So could it be that I have to be on Safari or?
Yeah, it works with your Safari app because it's allowing that you are going to those websites on Safari.
Could there be instances where the password is required and I'm not on Safari?
I don't know. I'm not looking over your shoulder.
I just noticed that it doesn't always fill it in while it's doing it perfectly on the Mac, but
Yeah, I can't speak to that. You want to check your settings on your iPhone or your iPad, wherever you're having trouble. Make sure that it is syncing properly to your iCloud account with Keychain.
I
That
have to
sounds
speak
like it
on
might
it.
be the problem.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. Those of you who want to leave, you're more than welcome to do that. I will see you either later or next week. So thank you for your participation. For those of you in the balcony, answered. And we can talk about the Keychain passwords or anything else that you want to talk about in open discussion for a little bit of time. Okay, Carol, go ahead.
Hi, Baron. Thank you. I just have kind of an organization question, and that is, when you say creating a contact
Well, I'm
card.
going to be talking about, Carol, I'm going to be talking about organizing in an hour. Come on to that
Oh,
class.
all righty. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
wait until then. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Carol. Diane Friedlander, go ahead.
Hi, I have like looking at my passwords on my iPhone, and it has a whole bunch of like Amazon.com with all different information. I've got a lot of duplications. What could this possibly be?
It's possible that you've created duplicate accounts or you have different logins with the same account.
Wow.
So let's say you have Amazon and you've got 3 different ways to access your Amazon account. And each one of those might have the same or a different password, in which case it's showing you all 3 of those Amazon accounts.
So how would I straighten it out? By just getting rid of some of them?
This is some housekeeping. Yeah, you get rid of some of them. You pick one of the accounts that you want to be your main account and you stay with that.
Thank you very much. It was a surprise.
Yeah, thank you, Diane. Katya, go ahead.
Sorry. Something I didn't understand or didn't hear, you had talked about just having classes on Tuesday?
Correct.
And when is that starting?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, because I noticed there was okay, just on Tuesday. It was 2 and 4. Okay, that's what I got mixed up.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm giving myself some time to
No, it's
enjoy
good.
the weather. Yeah, oh,
Good.
it's very good.
We
It's
want you
very
here.
good. Yes, it's very good. It's amazing how much more relaxed I am.
Yeah. No, it's
And how
good.
much
And me
better
too.
I
For me, it's
feel.
good.
Yeah, a lot of students have said that it's easier on their schedules. And like I said, if you need a fix on Thursdays, go watch a recap video.
Yeah, exactly. We can see you again.
Thank you, Katya. Thank you, Katya. Kate Johnson, go ahead.
Baron, I'm just curious, you were giving us that chart at the beginning showing, the statistics on using more complex passwords.
Right.
Why are so many companies being hacked? I mean, surely they are aware of how sophisticated they need to be in terms of protecting. I imagine it's not passwords they're using, but there must be some.
Why are companies being hacked?
So
it's like the line out of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Why are you robbing banks?
Because they're there.
Really, yeah, because that's where the money is, right? If I were a bad guy, Amazon, I'd want somebody's Amazon password and log in and all that information because the credit card number is stored there.
But I guess my question is, why aren't companies doing more sophisticated protecting?
Right.
It's just
right.
so rampant.
Right. Sometimes it's not even a function of the company, but of an employee at the company making a mistake. We've seen this in the news countless times. You know, when the DNC got hacked and the emails from this one and that one got out when Hillary Clinton was running for president, it was an employee who had gone and allowed somebody to get into their computer, and from their computer, it went right into the network.
Got it.
It went right into the system. And the same is true at various corporations. Look, I can remember several years ago, an employee of the Social Security Department left his laptop at an airport. The laptop was not password protected. Words fail me to finish that sentence.
Thank you. I
Right?
get it. Thank
Yeah, you get it? It's human error. It's people making mistakes. This latest Facebook breach that has been in the papers the last few days a lot, from 2019, that was employee error in the software coding. Emily, go ahead.
Hi, Baron. I got you. So as I was putting my passwords into contacts, I had a thought that with all the information I am putting there, like my ID to get into the account, say my phone, somebody got a hold of it. And there's so many.
Emily, first they would have to get past your password, your passcode on your phone.
True.
And they've only 10 times to do it before your phone is wiped, if you have it set up to do it that way.
True.
Okay. What's your question?
Well, the question was that it's so easy to change, to say you forgot your password and get a new one. You know what I mean? If you go on to, if somebody happened to check, get my phone.
This is, all right.
So I was concerned about all that information.
That somebody get, look, I've been watching a few shows recently, and somebody will call a company and say, this is Baron Hamill and I forgot my password. And some employee goes, oh, okay, here's the password. Human error, human error, human error. It keeps coming back down to human error. Sloppy code gets built into the system. What's that whole hack out of the Microsoft, the government hack a couple of months ago, silver, thousands of companies, because an employee left a backdoor open in the code. Thousands of companies, hundreds of thousands of records, including government offices, are vulnerable.
One other question. When you're going through your passwords on your computer or your iPhone, where you had the 116 that you had a address, when it says it's used over more than one account, it doesn't seem to show you when you look at details or anything, which are those accounts that it's being used on.
Well, it doesn't matter because you're going to be changing those anyway.
Have to go through each one. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
Emily, thank you, Emily. And Emily, by the way, send me a new email with your TV cable question. It's buried in my computer somewhere. Madeline, go ahead.
Baron, I'm on passwords, then that has the face recognition. And under passwords, it says autofill passwords. And I have the green allowing it on autofill passwords. And then it says allow filling from iCloud keychain with the check mark.
Yes.
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 And then underneath that, this was my question, it has Chrome, which is Google, right?
Well, you're on Chrome, aren't you?
I have a Gmail address, email address, but do I have to check a blue check there as well?
if you're using the Chrome browser, not your Gmail account, but if you're using the Chrome browser as your search browser tool, instead of using Safari, what that's saying is, do you want Keychain to allow on the Chrome browser as well?
Okay, now I understand. So if I do not want it, I do not check it. I want to just stay
Correct.
with Safari because I trust
Correct.
it more.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
then I'm
Absolutely.
set up right. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. Any other questions? Anything else you want to talk about or say? Anything? Doesn't have to be about passwords. Could be about something else. Somebody, I just saw little clapping hands. Thank you for that. Whoever put that up. Thank you. Rosalie, go ahead.
When you change your password each time, the only thing that doesn't change is the made up word in the beginning.
Correct.
Each
And it
website,
might not be at the beginning. It might be in the middle or at the end.
aha. So that you just use that word somewhere in everything that you do.
Correct.
Got
And
it.
I'm allowing that the same bad guys are not hacking this one and hacking this one. And out of all the hundreds of thousands of accounts that they've gotten into, that they're not going, oh, look, there's Baron and there's Baron.
Right.
I'm allowing that they're too busy to worry about little old me.
Right. But everything but that changes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? No? Going once? Going twice? Okay. So I will see you all either later or next week or whenever works for you best. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy the beautiful spring weather that we're experiencing and having soon. And I'll see you soon. All righty. Bye all.